What's going on, everybody? It is your main man, JPLX24, and um, this is kind of a interesting video that I'm doing right now. So I'm here to talk about my experience working at a summer camp that that I was doing. I had recently just quit on Friday, and I'm here to talk about it. I asked you guys on Instagram if you guys wanted me to make a video on it, and so here I am talking about the experience. So let's get started. Well, let's start with the process of how I got the job. When I was given the application to get this job, because this wasn't really something I wanted to get. It was just something that my dad could just kind of get to. He was like, here, fill this out. I'm just like, okay, and then I filled it out, all that stuff. Originally what I wanted to be was I wanted to work at a front desk, at the nearby, at a pool nearby my house. And the city called me up. They were just like, oh, are you interested in being, is this oh, it's like, hi, is this Josh? I'm just like, yeah, this is me. What you want? It's just like, oh, are you interested in being a front desk, or not are you interested in being a camp counselor? And I'm just like, camp counselor? I didn't sign up for that. And they were just like, oh, I know, but the front desk option was, it wasn't available because there were too many applicants. We already hired people, so we could be a camp counselor if you want to. Would you like to do that instead? Would that interest you? And I don't know why I said this, but my dumbass said yes anyway, even though I know I look, I'm not a personal fan of kids. I could take them or leave them, but kids and me don't mix well at all. But I still said yes, and I had to do the interview. So I did the interview. I think I did it June 9th. I don't know. It was when Summer Game Fest was happening, and that's what, because right after that boring ass live stream, that's when I had to do the interview. It was 4 o'clock. So I'm talking to this lady. She's asking me about the stuff, this, that. She's asking me very basic ass questions. Literally anybody with if you have any sort of decent, if you have any sort of common sense to the questions she asks you, you're gonna be able to get that job lickety split. All you have to do, she was asking me questions just oh, if maybe a kid's doing this, or maybe a kid's maybe a kid's sitting off by themselves, and there's a group that he wants to join and he's just sitting off by himself. What would you do in that situation? And I was just well, I try to understand both sides of the situation and then make the best judgment from there. I basically said that for every single question. They were just oh, okay, well, I think you'd be a great fit. And I'm just thank you. I completely talked out of my ass, but I appreciate that you guys can that you guys say that I'm a whatever. So then I got the job. And yeah, so then I had training the following Saturday of that day. I don't remember what, I think it was June 10, 11. I don't know, and I don't really care. But yeah, June 10, 11th, I ended up going to that place to get the training done. They said it was going to be paid for, so that was nice. And the first training at least was basically how the job is. We met everybody in charge, this girl named Missy, this other girl named Claire, another one named Jamie, all that stuff. I don't know, I don't remember their names and I don't really care. But yeah, there was all these people and all that stuff running the place. It was these 3 ladies, and then everybody who was trying to work there. The training was really long. Excuse me. It was at 9 a.m. to I don't know, 1 to 2 o'clock at a park that's maybe 15-20 minutes away from my house. And so I went, but bro, when they went through that training, bro, I wanted to fall asleep so many times. I don't think I've ever wanted to fall asleep that much. And what makes it even worse is that I spent the night before playing with a friend of mine, playing It Takes Two with a friend of mine until 3 in the morning. So then I finally went to bed and I had to woke up at 7 or 8 a.m. Don't be like me, y'all. Go to bed on time if you got somewhere to be the next day. Go to bed on time. So yeah, after that training was done, blah 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 blah. They gave you a sign to fill out and all that stuff. Just oh, do this, that, so we can pay you and all that stuff. Blah 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 blah. And then, so yeah, I did that. And they were just like, oh, if you're ever going on vacation, you could like write down like what days you're not going to be here, so that way we can like, you know, schedule ahead of time. It's like, oh, you're not going to be here because of vacation, okay, cool, that's fine. So then like I didn't start until like July 11th, because like it started on like the 27th, and it started on the 27th, and I didn't want to, what's it called, I didn't want to start until the 11th, because you know, the 27th, that was like literally 3 days after Sonic Origins came out. So, you know, I wanted to take some time to stream that. And then the following week, like the July 4th week, well, my birthday's July 4th, so I wanted to spend the week, you know, celebrating my birthday. And that week was something in itself. That week was like a very interesting week. A lot of good things, but some bad things, but you know, that's a story for another day. Anyways, so June 11th, I start my first day. Now, the schedule that I was actually, no, I'll explain that later. Let me take a look at my notes. I should have pulled this up before actually speaking. But let me see. Okay, so the schedule. So the schedule that I was, you know, asked to work was 8 o'clock to 3:30. So that's like 6.5 hours. I don't know. It was long. What I know is that it was long. And me, being the type of person who usually doesn't go to sleep until like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, that 8 a.m. schedule was really bad. I did not at all. Ugh, it was bad. And yeah, I hated it. So, you know, that happens Monday through Friday and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so what you do is you'd like, you know, you'd go in, they'd have like a morning meeting and all that stuff. I never attended because I was late every single day. Is what it is. Don't be like me, y'all. Don't be like me. Show up to work on time. Anyways, so they would have like a morning meeting. You know, you just sit there, just like sit in your designated group until like the kids you're supposed to take care of that day were showing up. They usually showed up at around like 8:30 to like 9, and then that's when the day actually starts. The schedule was different like almost every day. Like on Monday, what they would do is on Monday they would like go to the pool from like 10 o'clock to 12, and then we would go back to the park we were like working at, and then like eat lunch, and then for the rest of the day we would just like go outside, like be in like a garden area, work at a park and all that stuff. And yeah, it was mainly, all the stuff was just like mainly outside. And then Tuesday was like the wild day. I don't know, because like usually what you would do is like, because we weren't going anywhere, so we would just like stay at the park all day from like 8 a.m. to 3:30. And Tuesday was like something like what they would do in the morning, like once all the kids arrived, they would like have something or someone show up and like do like bring something or show something off to the children, and you know, just make them have like good time. Like I remember my first week working there, the Tuesday, like the 12th, they bought a petting zoo. So like, you know, they brought like a bunch of bunnies and all that stuff, and bro, one of those bunnies, bro, my experiences with those, because they let us hold, like they let the counselors hold the bunnies. So like I asked them like, oh, can I hold one? And then they gave one to me, and bro, that bunny that I held in my hand, that thing started, like, he started moving in my arms, and I started getting really scared because I was afraid I was gonna drop him. I was also afraid that he was gonna like bite my face off and all that stuff. So yeah, my experience wasn't that great, but they were cute. I got to pet them a lot. That was nice. And then the following Tuesday, there was this lady. She was like really young too. She looked like she was around my age. Like, keep in mind, I'm 20 years old, and she looked like she was maybe like 22, 23 and all that stuff. She looked very young. But what she came and did is she basically had like this equipment, this like bubble equipment, you know, like where you'd make those like giant bubbles and all that shit and all that for the kids to do. And yeah, that's basically what happened. I think something that also happened was that like a kid was like, I think one of the bubbles like got inside of his throat, so like he was kind of like choking on it a little bit. I felt so bad. That poor child. What else? And then the last week, you know, my final week was, there was a guy who came and did a magic show. His name was like Joe Fisher and all that stuff. You can find him like on Instagram, like somewhere right here, maybe if I remember to put it or not. But yeah, he came in, did his magical shtick. You know, he was honestly probably the most entertaining one in my opinion. And every time like he did a like every time he spoke, I kept thinking to myself like this guy would be like such a good like actor or voice actor, because this guy, like the way he's like talking and like presenting his, well, obviously like magicians and all that stuff are entertainers, so they got to be able to like talk in a certain way to like entertain the crowd and all that stuff. But like the way the guy was like presenting himself, and like the way he was talking with the children just in general, it made me think this guy would be such a good voice actor. And apparently he's been doing this magic thing for like 40 years and it's been his only job. So I'm just like, wow, that's hella impressive. I'm surprised you don't get bored of that after 40 years. Yeah, 1984 he said he started. I talk to them every now and then. So yeah, that's what they did for those 3 weeks. I don't know what they're doing nowadays, and I don't really care, but it is what it is. So that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, honestly, in my opinion, Wednesdays are like the worst days. So what we would do is on Wednesdays in the morning, what we would do is like we would go from one park and then we'd walk to another park. Cause like this park, the second park that we would go to on Wednesdays was like much bigger, and it was a bunch of trees and all that stuff. The only problem is just that we would have to walk there. We did, because like when we went to the pool, we would usually take a bus and we would go in like separate groups. But like with the other park, it was bad. It was so bad. We had to walk there, and it was awful. I hated it. Hated it. And we wouldn't even what we would basically do is we basically do the same things at that park, but just in a different location, which made it even more boring. It was just like the same shit, different day. So it's just like, the fuck, bro. So yeah, that was annoying. Thursdays, we just stayed at the original park literally all day. And there wasn't anything like on Tuesdays, like how we would stay at the park all day, but there would be something coming in the morning and distracting. Nope, it was just go outside, go play for like 6.5 hours. Thursdays sucked. Anyways, and then we had Friday. Fridays, we would, go to the pool again, and then we would go to the pool again, and then we would also have lunch at the pool. Instead of like, unlike Monday, we would go to the pool and we would actually eat lunch at the pool on Fridays, and then we go back, and then on Fridays they watch a movie and all that stuff for the rest of the afternoon. And honestly, Fridays were just like, it was a good day for counselors, because like we didn't have to watch the kids, because all they would do, they were just focus on the movie, and the rest of us counselors could like go to sleep. Like I remember some of the other camp counselors would literally fall asleep when the movie was on. I saw a couple of them, or they would just like talk amongst themselves, go on their phone, whatever, the other things that counselors do. And that was basically what I did every single week. Same shit, different day. Yeah. All right, so next, so we talked about the experience, how it was like, and then the schedule. I guess we can talk about the other coworkers. The other coworkers, I don't know, they were okay. There was no one there I actively despised, but there was no one there I felt like I really got close. I was cool with like a good portion of them. Like I tried to be cool with like everybody, or at least to my best ability. Like there was this one girl. There was this one girl who I was talking to there. She was really cool. Like, we would like, cause we would like, it was her first week. Like she started the week after I did, and she would, we would often get assigned to like the same group like for that 1 week, and then we just like kind of got closer to that, because I would ask her random stuff like, what did she do outside of work? What did she do with this? What did she do with that? And then all that stuff. And she would like go around to like the other counselors and talk about random stuff and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. She did her own thing. She was cool. I liked her. There were some people there who were like maybe like 15, 16 years old, and all of a sudden this was like their first job. I think the oldest person there was like 21, 22. I don't know. Other than like the supervisors, like the other counselor, I think the oldest one was like 21 or something like that. And some of them have been working there for like 5+ years and all this. Like they've been working there for a long while, and I'm thinking to myself like, how do y'all do it? Because I couldn't even last a month, bro. Like Jesus Christ. So yeah, all the other coworkers were perfectly fine. I have no complaints. And now let's talk about some interesting things that happened while I was working there. First thing I have up was like, okay, so there was this one girl, like there was this one little girl, like one of the kids who was staying there, and like I don't know why, but like she would like every time she would see me, like I remember the first time she saw me, like she was just going up to the random counselors and just like assuming their ethnicity, which is like, oh, you're like Japanese, or you're like Trinidadian, or you're Jamaican. And then she walked up to me, like she ran up to me and she's like, you're Haitian. I'm just like, huh, how'd you know? I am Haitian. Yeah, I am Haitian. I don't know why she would do that, but it's just like she just guessed my ethnicity correctly. She was like, yes, I am Haitian. Good job, good job. And then like, but that is all she would say whenever she saw me, bro. It like I would just like, you know, I would like see her like walking around and she would like notice me and she'd be like, and like she'd stare at me a little bit and I'd just be like I'd be minding my own business. You know what? Let's show a skit. Let's show a skit of what happens. Let me just grab it and then just show it to the screen. You're Haitian. What? You're Haitian. You're Haitian. I really hope you were able to watch that, and I really hope I presented it in a way that it was actually really cool. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and you know, every time, literally every time. It was like, it was funny at first, but then, you know, it got annoying very, very quickly. But yeah, that was one of the girls. She was alright. Oh, let me tell you, okay, so let me tell you about this kid. So there was a kid that worked there. His name was Miles, and I ain't talking about Morales, but this kid, oh my god, this kid, he was he was like some quirked up white boy or something like that. He was not goated with the sauce, but he was like maybe, I don't know, like 3-4 years old and all that stuff. And I think it was like his first day at camp. It was like his first or second day at camp. I don't know. Because like the group that I was assigned to, for like the remainder of the camp was like this, his first day, I wasn't assigned to that group because I was like alternating between groups. Like, bro, they could not keep me in a consistent group for a long time. Like, I started out in group 9, then I started in group 6, and then I went to group 1, and then I went to group 7, and then I went to group 9, and then I went to group 8, and then I went to group 4. Like, I couldn't stay in a consistent group, and then I went to 5. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. So the one consistent group that they left me in for a while was 3. So I was in group 3 for a long time, except for the one day where Miles' first day was. They put me in group 7 at that time. So, you know, I was in group 7 when I was originally like in 3, and then that was Miles' first day. I didn't know much about that kid on the first day because apparently he was perfectly fine and all that stuff. And when I go back to group 3, like when the magic guy came, they were all like playing, because like they were all playing outside while the guy was just setting up the performance and all that stuff. And so one of my other, like, because like they put like 2 or 3 counselors in a group and all that stuff, you know, for like per group to like watch the kids. And one of my other counselors, I don't know if they want me to say their name or not, so I'm just gonna keep it private for now. So yeah, one of the other counselors, she was like, oh, okay kids, time to like, you know, line up, and then so we can go like watch the magic show. And then this kid Miles, bro. This kid Miles, like, for some reason he when he heard my other coworker talk, when he heard her voice, he like looked at her, he hit her with the fucking, let me show you, he hit her with the fucking, he hit her with the eyes roll, like the eye roll, bro. It's just like, and then she's like, don't roll your eyes at me. Come on, line up. And then for some reason, that just sets this kid off, bro. Like the kid, he started screaming. He started like sprinting at the other little kids, and then he started wailing on him. He was like, mink, 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 mink. And I was just like, what is happening? And then, like, you know, the other coworkers are just like, you know, trying to get him off the kids, because this dude is just like wailing on this one little girl, just mink, 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 mink. And it's just like, what is wrong? I was so confused. And then, so my other counselor is like, she managed to get him off he managed to get him off the little girl, and then he bit her. He bit the other coworker, and then like she screamed, "Don't bite at me!" And I was just like, I'm like looking around, it's just like, what the hell is going on? I was so confused. And what's funny enough is I actually found a stick I found like this really long stick like on the ground that I really like, and I took it home with me, and I was just like messing with it like a baton or like a bow staff, and I'm just like, yo, I held that thing. I'm just like, yo, say the word, like, yo, say the word. I got you, and all that stuff. But then he just like went to his dad, and I don't think he ever came back for the rest of the day. But my God, that kid Miles was insane. That was probably the most interesting thing that happened at that entire camp. All right, now let's go to the main part of this video. So when I was, working there, I was just minding my business. I was just like, it was a little bit of downtime, like the kids were eating lunch and all that stuff. And then I was talking to this one girl, like the new girl who started working there. And she's telling me about like, apparently like there was like some other scandals going on with like some people's like payment and all that stuff. Like there was like apparently like a huge payment scandal that I had no idea about. So like what she was telling me was that like there have been some people who have like been working there like since the very beginning. Like keep in mind, remember, this camp started June 27th, and then like when this had like I was told about this like 2 weeks ago. So like when was it? July, let me look at my calendar. It was like July like 18th and all that stuff. It was like July 18th that week, and some people have been working there and they still didn't get paid. And I'm listening to all this just like, really? And all that stuff. I was so shocked. And then like some people have been working there, for like an entire month and still haven't gotten paid yet. I remember one of the other coworkers I was talking about, we actually like kind of bonded for talking about Yakuza and Sonic and Smash Bros and all that, and she hasn't been paid either. And I remember she was telling me just like, yo, like I gotta leave, bro, because this job is just not for me, man. This job is just, I can't do it. And then she was like, she wanted to make sure she got her pay, and she was going to dip. And that happened. And apparently there's like some other things too, where it's like this different, like some coworkers had like past experiences that like at other jobs working with children, and like the more experience you have, I think the more you got paid or something like that, which makes sense, I guess. I don't know. I don't deal with this type of situations with all that stuff. You guys can discuss what you think about that in the comments, where it's like but like the thing is that someone with the same level of experience, like there were two people who had like, there was their first job, no experience working with children, and they were both working, but person A would make more money than person B. And there was like that whole scandal going on between like two other coworkers and all that stuff. So yeah, there was issues like that, people not getting paid. What was another one that someone said? Oh, and there was another thing saying how like the stuff that they were doing was kind of illegal with all that stuff, because they could like get in trouble with like child labor laws, because like I said, some of these kids are like 15, 16, 17 years old, and they working and not getting paid. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. And apparently this is not the first time. This is not like the first time with these scandals have happened. Apparently this has been going on for like years and years before, from what I was told. And when I heard about all that stuff, I told myself, that's it. That was my 13th reason. Like that was literally my 13th reason. And then I'm just like, no thank you, I'm out. I made sure I got paid, and then I dipped. So yeah, and what's funny is that literally on Friday, my last day, they were watching Frozen, right? And the rest of us counselors were just like doing their own thing. I was watching the movie because I couldn't go on my phone because my phone was about to die, so I was just like watching the movie and all that stuff. And I'd never seen Frozen before, like not fully, but like I've seen a bunch of clips of it, but that's not important to the story. So then we were watching it, and then like the supervisor, like the lady who's like always there at the camp and just like making sure the kids are okay and all that stuff, blah 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 blah, she was like, can all counselors come to the art room real quick? And I'm just like, okay, that's a little weird. Like, so she called all the counselors who work there, Everyone finds a seat, they're sitting down, and then she tells us, it's just like this other lady, like the lady who deals with like the payment and all that stuff. And apparently she was like piss baby rage mad about the fact that we were discussing our pay with, like other coworkers, because like everybody was talking about it at one point. Like whenever like the kids weren't paid, like whenever the kids were off doing their own thing, or like it was after work or before work, before the kid, like when there were no children in the vicinity, everybody was talking about it at some point and all that stuff. Yeah, and then I guess like maybe someone was talking about a conversation. Maybe someone was talking about a conversation like next to her, because like usually what the lady who sent that text message to the director, she came to the pool, and she just came to check on us like both Monday and Friday. And she would just, like look around, see what the rest of us coworkers are doing. And she was also really mad that most coworkers, like, most of the counselors weren't in the pool themselves to watch over the kids. And I'm just like, I was like, my sister in Christ in this case, my sister in Christ. I'm not going into the pool. I really don't want to. I eventually gave in and went to the pool anyway because, I didn't go in because I didn't have swimming trunks and I kind of didn't want to. But then I found some swimming trunks and then I went inside. But it's just like, bro, you want me to just sit here and watch these kids while I'm at the pool? I want to go turn up and like hang out with the other coworkers. I want to freaking do swimming races with them and all that stuff. And it's like, no, you sit there, you watch them, you like it. And I'm just like, all right, damn, bitch. And apparently she was also pissed baby rage mad at the fact that we were using our cell phones. Like apparently cell phones are like not a thing. Like cell phones are like a no-go when it comes to all that stuff. And I'm over here thinking, like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I heard the fact that I couldn't use my phone, I did not give a fruit flying about that rule. If I wanted to use my phone like during lunch to watch a video, I used my phone. What they gonna do? Fire me? Like what they gonna do? So yeah, I did that. And I was just minding my business. Every time I had some downtime, I would like use it to check the clock or everything and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And she did not like that either. So fast forward back to Friday, the Friday as I'm recording this video, which is July 31st, and so it was July 29th. So, we're all sitting in the art room, and she's like telling us like, oh, you guys should not be talking about your pay with the other coworkers. It's unprofessional. It's this, it's that. I don't remember exactly what she said, but that was basically the gist of what she said. Like, oh, you should not be discussing your pay with other coworkers, and you should not be on your phones. And those were like the main two concerns. And then that just raises everybody's eyebrows, just like, huh? We can't discuss our pay, but don't we have a right to do that as like a working citizen in the United States and all that stuff? That raised a lot of eyebrows when we heard that. We were just like, that's a little sussy baka and all that stuff. Can't believe I said that. So yeah. That just like had everybody raising questions, just like, oh, but why can't we do this? Oh, but why can't we do that? Oh, but we were doing this. Oh, but we were doing that and all that stuff. So she was just like, all right, you know what? The director was just like, all right, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna text the supervisor, tell her to come here, and whatever questions you guys have for her, discuss it with her, cause I don't deal with the money. You guys talk to her. Make it her problem, not mine. I just work here. That's literally what she said. Look, I just work here. I don't deal with any of this type of shit. So, like after the kids left, it was 3:30. And then she came around like maybe like 4 o'clock. She came like mad late too, but it's whatever. So she came. And she also like brought the guy who like deals with the money and all that stuff. That was like a different guy as well. So it was just like her and then the other guy. They came and like discussed all that stuff, and they were like basically answering like all these questions, just like, oh well, you were missing something on your application, and all that stuff and all that blah 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 blah. Like you were missing stuff on your application, so do this, do that, and then once you do this and that, we can pay you in full. And like if you feel like you deserve more pay because you have more experience, just let me know. I can fix it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. They were just making it seem like, oh, we're not trying to like, we're not trying to hurt you guys. Trust me, we're trying to make this like easy as possible. We're trying to like make sure you get paid what you deserve, blah 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 blah. We're trying to make sure you do this, trying to make sure you do that, and all that stuff. And I'm over here thinking, like, I don't know why I didn't bring this up, but like because I actually had a situation like that as well, where when I turned in the forms to the lady, apparently I was missing something, and she didn't tell me. Like, I ain't get no email, no text message, no this, no that, and then like the only reason why I found out about it in the first place was because my dad, who also works like in that basic same, not the same department, but it's like the same area. Like they all work at like the town hall and all that stuff in that city. And he was trying to do something, and he wanted to like put something on my name, and it's like, oh, do you have his name in the system? I'm just like, no, I don't have no so and so in the system. Just like, wait, why not? He's supposed to be working at a camp counselor there, and just like, oh yeah, like, we got his application, but he was missing some things, and we can't put him in the system. It's just like, and then he looks at me and just like, did they tell you this? And I'm just like, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was missing anything. I was never told this. And it's just like, put him in the system right now, and then all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. And apparently that was like some other woman and all that stuff. Just like, other stuff like that. So yeah, that was one of the issues that was going on there. And, people were worried about like not getting paid. Someone was getting paid more than them. The fact that we couldn't discuss our pay, like, and all this stuff, like the procedures and all that stuff was kind of borderline illegal and all that shit. Those were like all the concerns that all the co-workers had. Me personally, I just wanted to leave because I just didn't like that job, but it is what it is. So yeah, if you ever want to work at a camp counselor at that place, I didn't even say the location, but my experience working there, it was, if I had to, okay, here's what I'm going to say. If I had to rank this job out of the two jobs I've had in my career so far, between working at Crab du Jour or working as a camp counselor, I'm going to say that working at Crab du Jour was miles better than working at the summer camp job. Because, like I said, for me personally, that job, especially waking up at 8 in the morning and dealing with these loud screaming kids every single day, I couldn't do it. No, thank you. With the other job at the Crab du Jour place, it was first of all, it started later, which is a big bonus. So, I was awake at the time, and I could have gone to work not feeling like shit. That was a big bonus. I was paid on time. That's another thing. And so was my other coworker. Shout out to Sam. I know you're watching. And honestly, I felt like I just had more fun working at the other job. Because, like, at the other job at Crab du Jour, they let you control the music that goes on in the store. They let you eat for free if, like, the order was like under $15. And honestly, the people like who were working the kitchen, like making all the food, they were honestly cool as hell. Like, I remember one day, like, the manager wasn't here. The manager was like the only guy. The manager was the only guy I didn't like at that job. But everyone else was cool, bro. Like, yo, my coworkers was cool. The people working in the kitchen were cool. Like, yo, we were all tight with it. We were all close with each other. I remember one day when, like, it was like the first day he didn't show up, and like me and my other because we worked different. I worked the morning shift, he worked the closing shift, and then like there would be like 2 or 3 hours where we would like work at the same time together. And then during that time, like one of the people in the kitchen, like he found some watermelon, he like cut it up and he like shared, like we all shared it, like everybody in the kitchen shared it with each other. Yo, that was a nice moment. I enjoyed that. That's one of the things I really enjoyed from that job. And another thing too is like me and Sam were like, we were both Sonic fans, so like you would not go 5 minutes in that store without hearing Sonic music playing throughout that store. It was enjoyable. That was nice. But I think I'm done. I really don't have anything else to say. I don't have anything else in my notes. I basically talked about everything I wanted to. So yeah, if you ever want to be a camp counselor, keep those things in mind, especially if you're working at the department that I did, at the city that I did. Keep that in mind. And I think I can end this video now. So, with that being said, this is JPO signing out. I thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what it is. Oh well.